Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Xinfin Network, aka XDC. So with that being said, let's just dive on in and let's start off with a few things. So one, I just want to say that I cannot wait until the next major cycle actually fully begins. I'm very excited to see where Xinfin is going to go. I think that XDC is an absolute massive opportunity in this space, especially with all of the recent updates that we have just recently seen, which we will be going over. And outside of that, I do hope everybody has been enjoying the time in the market. I know that it has not been easy to get through this bear market, but I want you all to understand that this is probably the best time to be in this space. I know that it's not easy. That's why we always say, don't let anyone ever tell you that you got lucky, because it is not an easy battle to get through the bear market to really kind of reap the rewards of the bull run. So with that being said, let's just dive in to this video from Marina Lua 20022 over on Twitter. When you see forging new relationships is a key objective of the TradeFinex Investor Day, the TFDI CEO, Andre Kasserman, has been speaking about our annual event, which is only 3 weeks away. Check this video out.
First, enjoy indeed a day out of the office in a beautiful location. Also to start enjoying the networking, because we have been running through TFD Initiative a lot of webinars during the pandemic. But here we really want to maximize networking as from Thursday late afternoon. And then the Friday is our series of panels and testimonials. We are aiming to offer the attendees an opportunity to network and establish new connections. Making deals is definitely a top priority. Making deals by meeting people, the right people, as alternative lenders, originators, or institutional investors able to extend liquidity to those alternative lenders, but also making deals by discovering how the technology, which is available off the shelf, pay as you go, offers incredible new opportunities. And I was just recently talking to one of our speakers who is bringing that message very clearly out. We discovered the TFD Initiative and the Tradeteq platform, and this now offers us a business development opportunity we could not have imagined. Why? Because alternative lenders are smaller firms, and they need off-the-shelf technology. They can't build that themselves. It's too expensive. It's too complex. So we want to give our audience those networking opportunities and product business development discovery, also options for them to engage in new relationships, basically. So forging new relationships through the Investor Day is definitely, on the back of those innovations, is definitely a key objective of the event.
So yeah, this is something that we are definitely excited for. This is October 19th through the 20th. And remember what I've always said about these events. These are not price-driving events. These are events to give us a great insight on what is happening behind the scenes, especially around trade finance, which is a market that does not get enough of a spotlight put on it. Now, outside of that, we've seen a big announcement today. So as you guys do know, SBI and XDC Network have been working together for a while. Well, now we see XDC is going mainstream. Joint venture with SBI VC official and TradeFinex. SBI is the largest outside shareholder in Ripple and inside R3. This is huge. And we do see notice regarding conclusion of a basic agreement to establish a joint venture with UAE TradeFinex, the promoter of the XDC network. Now, we actually seen a few things around this, and I've been talking about TradeFinex for a very long time. I keep telling you guys to keep a close eye out on TradeFinex. This is also a platform within the XDC network that a lot of people have been overlooking for so long, and I just don't get it, because when you actually look up what TradeFinex is becoming, it's becoming the network of networks for tomorrow's trade finance sector. So this is one thing that I've been watching for, and this is a big announcement. We do see SBI works with UAE's TradeFinex to set up joint crypto venture in Japan. SBI Holdings will work with the UAE firm TradeFinex on a Japanese joint venture to boost the adoption of its enterprise blockchain platform on the XDC network. We do see SBI Holdings and TradeFinex will look to drive trade finance adoption of the Ethereum virtual machine compatible enterprise blockchain XDC network through a new joint venture in Japan. The UAE-based firm TradeFinex operates its own decentralized platform on the XDC network for trade finance originators to connect to a variety of banks and lending institutions aimed at enterprise use cases. TradeFinex primarily provides blockchain-based trade finance products, including invoicing, letters of credit, purchase order finance, and supply chain finance. And if you guys do look at that image, you can see that XDC is at the center point for TradeFinex. This is, like I said, a big deal when you actually know about what TradeFinex is, which is the network of networks, if you will, around trade finance. Now, if we also scroll down, they give us a little bit more of an insight on what is happening around TradeFinex and how they have been involved in collaborations with the World Trade Organization, the International Chamber of Commerce, and various government agencies to explore blockchain as a means to overhaul the speed, transparency, cost, and traceability of trade finance. And by the way, we already know that TradeFinex has been working with Swift for a very long time as well. TradeFinex is seriously one of the biggest kept Xinfin secrets forever now, that a lot of people just don't look into. And that's why I've been really kind of looking into it and telling you guys, like, this is a big deal. Also, outside of that, we see over here from Marina yet again, it's 1 week since the Electronic Trade Documents Act came into force. Lloyd's Banking Group Bank were quick off the mark. The company announced its first digital trade transaction shortly after the law came in. And also here you guys have a video real quick. Again, really kind of promoting the Trade Finance Investor Day meeting with the TFDI in October. Check it out.
Lloyds Bank has invested in trade digitalization, and this is perfectly aligned to our strategic objectives. 3 key themes come to mind when I think about all the work our teams have done to expand the use of digital documentation in trade. The first key theme is our commitment to creating a future where our planet is cared for. The second theme is being bold in our decisions and, importantly, in our investments. And lastly, the third theme is innovating and continuously searching for better ways to work with our clients, as well as improving our colleagues' journey. And in this context, is no surprise that in August last year, we purchased the UK's first digital promissory note, something that we are very proud of, and the activity continues to grow to widen the use cases under which digital promissory notes and bills with change can be used. The volume of trade documents that are on transit around the world, the statistics shows around 4 billion. That's a material number, especially taking into consideration that only 1% or less than that is digital. So digitizing trade is important to reducing the use of paper and advancing our own sustainability agenda. And in our mission to modernize trade, Lloyds has invested €3 million in the technology platform Inigio, and we continue to streamline processes. As I mentioned before, this is important not only for our colleagues, but for our clients, who are at the center of everything that we do. And according to the ADB, global trade gap grew to 2.5 trillion in 2022, and that was at 1.7 trillion just 2 years ago. So by moving away from paper-based instruments, I think in a controlled manner, where we take the industry alongside with us, we have the potential to increase the supply of finance, and especially for banks using their balance sheets as a force for good.
And again, like, this is all now set in motion. Like, everything is already beginning around this, which I've been talking about. I know that I sound like a little bit of a broken record when I talk about trade finance, but it really is a big deal. And, you know, outside of that, we do continue to see some of the members around Xinfin adapting to what they really need to become. And Tradeteq is one of them. They recently did a full rebrand of their website, and we do see the private credit investment marketplace connecting asset sellers with investment managers, fast tracking your readiness to engage investors, your journey to institutional investors. And within this, they do outline everything around it. And remember that they are tapping in to Xinfin for a lot of great things around trade finance and even institutional grade adoption. So I'm very excited for a lot of the players tied to Xinfin, you know, for them to really kind of continue to innovate beyond the means of what's necessary. And also remember that Tradeteq is a membership of the TFDI, the World Economic Forum, and the ITFA. And I always say, make sure that you are paying attention to those that are tied to the elites, because they will most likely succeed. And when you look at the company, the Tradeteq company, they are and have been extremely vocal around trade finance and what they are doing with trade finance. This is seriously just the beginning of what's to come. There's a lot going on around trade finance. And like I said, I think that XDC is a big game changer. I mean, even when you go over to the solutions tab on the xdc.org website and you read things around what's happening with global trade and transactions and everything else, right? It all revolves around blockchain, DLT, and tapping into the potential behind this technology. And XDC has extremely disruptive technology behind it. And it's really kind of proven itself. I mean, over the last couple months alone, I've been talking to you guys about a lot of things. For an example, here's one of them, right? Tokenization. Tokenization is such a huge area of focus around the space. And if you are not focused on tokenization right now, you should be, because every single major global institution is talking about tokenization because of the benefits to it, right? Even look at real estate, for an example. It's a big area of opportunity. Outside of this, right, there's so much more. You have the digital asset composer. This is where you don't even need to know coding to create digital assets, including smart contracts, entire DeFi protocols, fractionalized real-world assets right up the alley of tokenization, highly customizable utility NFTs as well. And all of this is tapping into, well, the cross-chain bridge capabilities, the ISO 20022 API solution. I mean, there's so much happening around this. Like, when we really kind of look at XDC Network, I think that this has become a giant. And I think that it's become an overlooked giant in the last couple months. Remember when we did get the big the big price driving news back in roughly like May, June, or July, somewhere around that time frame, where XDC really kind of started to wake up. I think that that's when a lot more eyes really kind of got put on XDC. But since then, I think that, after we kind of sold off a little bit, a lot of people kind of lost focus. But let it be known that these are huge announcements that we are seeing, and this is what makes me excited, right? Like, this is what makes me excited about XDC, because there's so much, and I even say this with Hedera as well. There is so much substance behind these networks. You look at the network participants, you look at the enterprise and institutional grade clients, then you also look at the overall ecosystem around it. And when we look at this, right, like, these are projects that continue to expand, that continue to become, a blue chip in this space, yet barely anyone is really kind of looking at them. And that's what makes me excited about the next, cycle, because even though we've seen big moves in the market, and even though we've seen like huge news, the reason why a lot of these tokens are just not surprising a lot of people is because guess what? There's not a lot of people to surprise in this space. When we are in the next cycle and the retail sector is looking at these tokens and looking at these projects and saying, wow, that looks like a gem. Well, guess what? You guys here that are already, reading on about XDC, watching the videos, digesting the content, digesting the information behind the scenes of what's happening with XDC, realizing the bills and realizing the things leading up to the big boom event of like massive global trade finance names tapping into DLT and blockchain, specifically with XDC. Like, we're already seeing the big picture here. And the retail sector that floods in, I know that we're a part of the retail sector, but we're a very, very, very small percentage. The rest of the flood that comes on in, they're going to be late to the party. And that's why I say, like, we're like where we are at right now. I know this space looks doom and gloom, but outside of that, I want you all to understand that if you could look past all the dark days and, look into the future where things are sunny and things are great, you're going to succeed. Because right now, if we look at all of these big events, like, these are not small events around Xinfin. I mean, everything that's been happening in just the last, roughly 3-4 months. I mean, go back 4 months ago. Hell, go back half a year. In a half a year, XDC and Xinfin have made their name known massively. So when we really kind of look at what's going on with XDC, I know for a fact that this is going to be a giant in the space. And I know for a fact that outside of, the whole idea of like the price isn't moving, this isn't moving, this market has been dead. The overall focus of the retail sector hasn't even caught on to crypto yet. They'll catch on when we're making new all-time highs and we're going into price discovery. And that's going to be the time in this market where you are going to be extremely proud of yourselves for being in this market, sticking through all of the rough times and realizing the value behind these utility gems. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm a free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.